Hello gamers and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. I'm Scott.
I'm Elliot.
And I'm Tony.
And welcome to episode number 43. Just to recap, we play a free-to-play game for a week and then we review it. Elliot, what was this week's game?
It's Diablo meets anime. We played Dungeon Fighter Online, which is a multiplayer PC beat-em-up. It's developed and published by Neople? It's Neo-P-L-E. I think it's like Neo-People is what they're trying to go for. I don't know. Let's see. There's a lot of information here. The game was originally released in Korea as Dungeon and Fighter in 2005. In China, it's published by Tencent, which is shocking, I know, to people. There's a lot of different release dates here. Korea came out in 2005. Japan, it came out in 2006. China, 2007. Taiwan, 2009. In North America, 2010. Dungeon Fighter Online is considered one of the highest grossing and most played video games. It reached a total of 600 million players worldwide. It's also one of the highest grossing entertainment products, I guess. It's grossed 11.8 billion since 2008 through the game, the anime, and the manga. So there you go.
Oh, there's an anime and a manga for it as well?
Apparently this is a big thing. I've never heard of it until
that's pretty cool.
Till last week. Have you? Either of you guys?
I only heard of it because my coworker has been like, "Oh, you should do this one for the podcast," repeatedly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the first time I had ever heard of it whenever he brought it up.
No, I haven't heard of this either. When you mentioned you were playing this game, I thought it was going to be an online fighting game. So
I did too.
Name is pretty awful, but maybe the manga has a better name.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is a online fighter? Question mark.
This game is a
brawler
lot of things.
fighter. I don't know.
So before we get to the gameplay, can we talk about here's my pre-gameplay. Did either of you struggle to download this stupid game, or am I the only one?
Well, when I heard you guys were having trouble with the Steam client side of it, I decided to go straight to the source, and I downloaded it from the actual website, and I downloaded that, got it installed, and then there was a absolutely huge file to download after that.
Yeah.
And it took me, it took all night. Like had to, I think it was like 2 hours, and it was at 64%. And I was like, okay, it's like 12:30 at night, and I can't sit here to wait for this to finish. So I let it finish overnight and didn't get to play it till the next day.
Yeah, it took me 3 times to download this properly. Tried to download it on Steam, and Steam, they banned my account before I could even, play it, and then I downloaded it from the
I got that too.
It took me 3 times.
Yeah, the Steam side of it?
Yeah, and I got an email.
When I did the Steam side, it did that.
I got an email from them a couple days later. They were like, hey, by the way, we suspended your account. I'm like, yeah, I know.
I saw that in a lot of
reviews. Yes, I got the
too.
email as well, yesterday. It was almost a whole week out from when
crazy.
I tried to download it and log in with the Steam stuff.
Yeah, if we weren't reviewing this game, I would have given up after trying to download it.
I guess I got lucky. I went on Steam and downloaded it. It took a few hours, but I walked away, so I don't know exactly how long it took. But
good for you.
Wasn't overnight. I got lucky though. So
yeah,
must be that good Wi-Fi up in New York or something.
Yeah,
or New Jersey.
Gameplay.
This is I want to say it's like a cross between Final Fight and an RPG, just because the fighting style, it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, what Elliot said, but the graphics are very reminiscent even of Final Fight. That's probably the best comparison I can make. What do you guys
more
think?
Like Golden Axe, something older, a little bit older.
Golden Axe,
yeah.
Streets of Rage, Battletoads, kind of.
Yeah, or those old school? You ever play the D&D arcade games, the Tower of Doom?
Yes,
something like that.
Yes,
but it's also very Diablo and very Path of Exile.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is literally a poor man's Diablo, which kind of already exists. They call it Path of Exile, but that's towards we'll get to that, but. Yeah, it's like Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, those old school D&D stuff, and then a lot of Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, because of the randomization of drops, correct?
Well, the leveling system, even the in-game content sounds a lot like Diablo's in-game content.
Yeah. Well, there's way way more classes in this game than ever.
Oh, for
in
sure.
Diablo,
Yeah, which
though.
is, I think, one of the pluses here. There are so many classes to choose from, and they are pretty unique.
Yeah, there's like a priest, there's like fighters, there's warriors.
Gunners.
Do you even have a list of...
No, I don't have the list, but which ones did you guys play?
I went with a knight because you can eventually turn it into a dragon knight, and from what my coworker Julian said, you can actually have like it's a huge NPC that takes up like a quarter of the screen that follows you and helps you fight whenever you get to that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Tony?
Yeah, I started as a fighter just because like the brawler character. I usually go for those in celebration of Final Fantasy coming out soon with Tifa and all that stuff. Tifa was my girl, so I was like, all right, I'll just be a fighter. And then I started that, but then I switched to a thief because I was like, well, I kind of like that class too. And the advanced character classes you get when you level up, those are kind of enticing because they look like they had pretty powerful ones for the thief.
Now, I went very scientific. I went with the most fan servicey class I could find first, which was the priest. Because one of the subclasses later for the priest was like this like goth priest, and I'm like, oh, I'm going that route. And I enjoyed the priest; it was okay. And then I switched to a gunner, and I hated the gunner. I hated the range classes. And then after that, I tried the I think it was the knight. The girl, she was the only there's only the female version of it. I think it was the knight or swordsman or something, swords girl or something like that. But did you
One
notice
with the shield and everything?
Yeah, you can only make 2 characters per day. So
Is that right?
I tried because I made 2. I played. I got to like level 20 on the priest the first day because I had the day off. And then I was like, oh, I'll try like a ranged character, and I tried that, and I did not like it. So I was like, oh, I'll try a different one, and it capped me on 2 characters a day, so I didn't get to try until like the next day.
So I noticed that like when I tried to I made 2. Like I made the fighter character first, and then I switched to thief, and I made it an event character, and then it turned the event character. I guess the event going on right now, I didn't realize it's like double XP or something. So my thief went nuts, and then I tried to do another one in the event. Apparently, you can only make 1 event character, so I noticed.
Okay.
But I didn't try to make more than 1 of the regular ones though.
Okay. Yeah, I only stuck with the 1 character just because I didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to play. Just because of the laptop, it's a little bit less timing for me to be able to play. I usually can play mostly on my phone, but I enjoyed like what I did get to play of it. I would have liked to have delved a little bit deeper into the game, but my laptop isn't the greatest in the world, so it was kind of choppy and a little bit laggy. But even that being said, the gameplay was still actually really good as far as like, being able to function within the game.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about, you basically just go on these quests, which are just a set of like screens that you level through. But the fighting is so linear that you go from one screen to the next screen to the next screen. There's no like actual path to choose anything, at least early on.
Yeah.
Where you're just going like, from one to the other, and then there's a little boss at the end.
And then the combat though, there's a lot of combos that you can do.
Yeah.
And if you're you can party with up to 3 other players.
Yeah.
And so if you party with those other people, from what I've been told, by somebody who's played this on a regular basis, you can actually link your combos together and like get some insane air juggles on like some of these harder like later level bosses that you can't get on by yourself.
I think that was how I definitely survived as the thief. Like I learned to just throw them up in the air, and I was punching them around, so that helped me stay alive for a while.
The other thing with gameplay is like you're using the arrow keys to move, and then you're using the keys to like use your move set, which I absolutely hated. I don't know if either of you guys did, but
I did too.
I'm so used to the like WASD, it was horrible.
Yeah, well, you can also connect a controller.
You can only connect
it
a
will
Steam
allow
controller
inputs.
Yeah, I tried to find a way to connect mine. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, I looked up.
Oh,
that was
okay.
the first thing I did too, because I was like, this is unplayable to me. But it's only a Steam controller, and I guess from what I read on Steam that it doesn't really work very well either. So, but the other problem is there's so
I'm sure
many
you
spells.
still have to use the button inputs.
There's like Q through T, A through G or H, and then like the bottom rung too. There's too many spells in this game.
It's hard to remember what does what, especially once you start getting the spells and stuff. You have, like you said, there's the whole row, the middle row of the keyboard, and then there's the top row that does jumps, and then there's the bottom one that ducks down. Like, what do I press? I have to guess what attack I was doing every time.
I found that I learned which spell, like which one would heal me or boost my like stats, and I would map that to like the far end, and then I would just like push random buttons. I was just randomly pushing things.
Yeah, I would too.
So I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't not fun, but it also wasn't like fun. I'm just like pushing stuff.
Yeah, I think I would have had more fun if I could have mapped the controller. And like, I mean, I think in my head I'm like, all right, it had a lot of spells and stuff, but then I mean, I know Dragon Age I think of Dragon Age because like even though it's a huge game, it's I mean this game makes a lot of money too, but yeah. Dragon Age has like you have a character that can have like a dozen different actions, and they just have a trigger button that can switch between them. And why can't this place do it? Like, it should be able to do it.
I completely agree. Some of the stuff we're not including though are things like there are guilds, there's PvP, there's what's called party play, which Scott kind of mentioned a little bit. Yeah. There is in-game raiding. There is in-game dungeons, like, and there's tier levels to those dungeons, it sounds like, as well. So there's definitely a lot here with gameplay, and next to impossible to see it all within a week, by far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, not even close. Like, we barely were able to scratch the surface of this game.
Yeah.
There is so much here in this game. I'm to the point where, like, if I can get a better PC, I would actually like to try this game out on, like, a regular basis just to see if I can get any further in it.
It's a pass on me. I mean, all these things are done better in other games to me. I liked the art, although it is incredibly fan servicey. Again, like a lot of things jiggle that have no business jiggling all the time. You know,
I thought that's what you liked.
I like it in the sense that I find it ridiculous. My Tessa loves it because she loves to laugh at that kind of stuff. So whenever I see something crazy like that, I'll be like, oh, come look at this. And then we have a good giggle about it because we're 12-year-olds.
I'm a big fan of the art style. I love, like the illustrations themselves are awesome, but then even the in-game models aren't too shabby. They're much better
really
than
not.
I mean, they're much better than I would expect from a free game.
Yeah,
but of course, this game makes tons. Like we've been saying, like this game makes tons of bank. Like whales go crazy on this.
It's so successful that they're working on a 3D version of this game right now.
Oh man.
So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Paywall.
Speaking of them making tons of money, what could we purchase in the game?
All right, so there's 3 currencies here. Do you guys know what they are?
It was the gold for like just buying items, and there was credits. I think I don't know what they were called though.
There's gold that you get from just playing, so the monsters drop the gold. You have what's called mileage, and then you have what's called, I think it's pronounced Cera or Cara. It's Cera.
Okay.
So the online shop. First off, can we talk about how the online shop looks like it was made in a DOS program?
Yep.
It looks like it's from 1995. Cera or Cara, whatever we'll call it Cara. That is your money, your actual money for currency. $1 equals 100 currency, maybe, and you can buy all kinds of stuff. I mean, everything from different avatars or all kinds of stuff. Items, definitely items that make the game easier, and definitely items that just change the look of the character.
Yeah, that's what I found when I dug around in the shop. The thing that first popped up was all kinds of costumes. I want to make my thief more scantily clad or something like that, or I want to make their dress purple or pink. I'm like, do I really need to pay? I don't even know how to earn this stuff. So I mean, do I really want to try to earn it in order to make my dress purple? I don't think I need that.
This kind of like a combination of pay to bedazzle and pay to win?
It seems that way. And the items that you can get seem to be pretty nice, but they are, limited to like your level and things like that. So you can't just buy power leveling items, it seems. When you purchase stuff with Kura, you get the mileage currency, and the mileage can be obtained in one of 2 ways. So you can purchase an item in the shop with the Kura, and that will gain you points equal to 20% of what you spend. So if you buy a 2,000 credit Kura item, you get 200 mileage points. You can also get
so you get cash back.
You also get 1 mileage point for every optimal level dungeon you clear on any character, and that caps at 30 mileage per account per day. And the stuff you can buy with the mileage seems to be like a rotating set of items. So like potions and buffs, mostly it looked like. But my understanding is that it like kind of rotates around, so it's never the same stuff.
It keeps it kind of interesting, keeps it fresh, I guess.
Yeah. The other thing, though, too, from doing a little bit of research, is you can buy items like you could in Diablo 2 days, like on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
eBay-like
Really?
sites. Yes. So, like, you can pay real more money for items just like you could in, like, Diablo 2. Which, there's a lot of those
Yeah, because I noticed
too.
some
Sites.
items were bind on pickup, as well as you could, I
BOE.
guess, trade them then.
Yeah, when I was doing my research on this game a little bit, I saw that, like you were saying, there's a huge marketplace for this, like, just these packages, and especially in China. Apparently, China is huge on that. That's where that's where the most of their money is coming from, apparently.
Well, in China, it's being published and produced by Tencent, so like they're notorious for that, So I don't find that shocking at all.
Yeah, I mean they're based in China, aren't they?
I believe they're Korean.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because that's where it released first.
Oh, you mean this game? No, this game, I think is Korean based. I meant Tencent.
Oh yeah, Tencent's
they're based
Chinese,
in China,
right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I believe that. Yeah, sorry.
that's okay. I wasn't
See
very
how
clear
like
on that.
calm and collected we are without Jeff.
I could start
It's like
belligerently
three
shouting.
adults talking. I
There's
miss
no
you,
screaming. We're gonna lose ratings.
Jeff. Oh yeah. I gotta start screaming at something.
No, but I read also that, like, I mean, when I was looking around, when I looked into the shop, and all I saw were the costumes, and then I kind of was like, is this all there is? And then I looked it up, and there were a lot of people that said, like, in the reviews, that were like, some people thought this game was totally pay to win, and then most of the people that, I guess, advocate for it say that, hey, you know what, it was more like pay to speed up your progress. Like, there was like, you could pay and jump up to the level cap or something like that, and then and they were saying even at the end you're still going to hit a wall. When you get to that end game, you're going to hit a wall with, like, unless you know your character and know all the ins and outs and the tricks, even the best items in the world aren't going to help you.
Which I find surprising because I found the gameplay to be pretty easy. Like, did either of you die when you guys played? I didn't die once.
No, but I mean, I was very early game.
Yeah,
I think I only
agree.
got through like the first few levels just to get a sense of how to play the game. Like I said, I barely scratched the surface.
I did die.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah. I mean,
So what happens?
You fall over and scream, and then you have to wait. It gives you like the screen that like says you can spend a currency, or maybe it was one of those Sarah things, but it was like spend this in order to be revived here, otherwise you're going to spawn back in the town and start over again.
Oh, okay.
But it was
Interesting.
It was funny because, like, I mean, I didn't die in the very beginning, and then I got to like a level 17 dungeon or a 15 dungeon, and I was doing my button mashing thing, and and I didn't feel like I was getting hit a lot, but apparently I was, and then all of a sudden I would just fly over and die. I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's harder than I thought.
Well, that's good to know. At least there is a little bit of a challenge there.
Replayability.
Do we even know how many dungeons there are in this game, or how long the game is?
Man, I did not know that. Let me Google real quick. Keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, because I noticed, like, I replayed like the first couple levels a couple times, and I noticed, like, I had done the first level and then immediately went into the second level, and unfortunately that meant that I didn't turn in the quest for the first level, and so I had to turn that in and then replay the second level to continue that quest line. So you could technically replay a lot of these levels over and over again, even just to grind up to a higher tier level to beef up your character a little bit, but there's seems to be a lot of replayability throughout this game.
So when we're talking about dungeon types, there are a handful. There's normal dungeons, no entry fees, few gimmicks, defeat the boss, clear the dungeon. There's scenario dungeons. During epic quest progression has unique map layout and monsters depending on the current progression. There are special dungeons, which is the final dungeon of each dungeon area. So in the hub, and then there's interdimensional rifts, which again, a rift thing is such a Diablo kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they have something called Anton, and then normal Anton, and then Tower. But then when we're talking about dungeons, there's even difficulties: normal, expert, master, king, slayer, and hell.
Gotta be a hell in there.
Yeah. So.
Yep. So what you're saying is there's a lot to this game.
There's a lot to this game.
Yeah. How many classes did you happen to pull that up?
No, let's see. I have original dungeons, 17 original dungeons from 1 to level 95. Then they added dungeons with each like DLC, so the Metastasis, there's like another 10 or 12. And then another 10 or 12 side dungeons, and then so there's probably 50 dungeons here easily.
Okay. So there's a ton of content. You got the replayability of doing different types of characters, and even with those different types of characters, there's different branches of those types of characters that you can do. So, Elliot, you said you did Priest. Which Priest character did you choose?
There are 11 classes. I chose the female because, again, I was going for the fan service look.
Okay, so
for my
the female... Yeah, what subclasses does she have
the
available?
It was the goth girl.
There's I'm looking at them now. The goth girl is the mistress, the one with the tattoo on her back.
Mistress one. That's the one I was. I was a mistress.
Okay, so the female priestess, does she have the ability to become a monk?
Psh, lame. Nothing cute about a
monk.
Well,
the reason I asked because the male priest had like a few different variants that he could become, and I'm curious to see if it's the same for the female character.
It's not.
Because if not, that like
different, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you've got, I think it was I want to say there was like 16 characters, if I memory serves correctly.
16 characters, and they claim it's over 60 advanced classes.
Okay, and I think that's probably legit because as I was going through and clicking each character and saw their subclasses, I'm like, oh, well, there's a lot here. There's, so many different ones that you could do. What is there a cap on how many characters you can have created at one time? Do we know?
I know there's a cap on how many you can create in a day, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, and I only know the one about the only one event character, and maybe unless you pay for it, maybe that's another pay thing.
Oh yeah, possibly. So either way, there's like a ton of different characters that you could choose from of what you wanted to play, different classes, different subclasses. There is absolutely a ton of replayability here. Yeah. But of course, as Jeff says, do you really want to replay it?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the
tons.
They have those I think there's 2 classes that you can be if like you unlock them when you get like the either a level cap or really high up.
Creator and was it Dark Knight?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Creator and Batman.
Blonde Batman, the Val Kilmer one.
Yeah. Batman Forever.
Yeah,
that's by far the worst Batman.
He wasn't that great of a Batman, though. He was a better Bruce Wayne.
He was a much better Bruce Wayne than he was a Batman.
All right, hold on. First off, best Bruce Wayne. Who's the best Bruce Wayne out of all of them?
Okay, here is my breakdown of all the Batman movies, okay? Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton was a terrible Bruce Wayne.
What?
Great Batman.
What?
I don't know about that.
Oh my god, I can't believe you just said it out loud.
Yes, I did say it out loud.
Oh my gosh.
Just hang with me, okay? Val Kilmer was a great Bruce Wayne, terrible Batman.
Agree there.
What was the third one?
George Clooney?
George Clooney, terrible all around.
Oh my god.
But he had nothing to
absolute
work
trash.
with.
Well, no,
when
it's true he had nothing to work with.
You get trash.
But he was trash.
But again,
that
Arnold
just shows that he's not
Schwarzenegger's
that great of an actor.
That, so you can't go that. You can't say it's that bad because Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance is just fantastic.
Was that the one with Jim Carrey?
No,
too,
it's not.
The other one?
No, that's the one with Val Kilmer. That's Jim Carrey and who's Two-Face
Tommy
in
Lee
that
Jones.
one?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Talk about a low point in your career.
Oh my god, pink. What was he? Purple or pink or something?
Oh my gosh. Remember he had the 2 sidekick girls? I had a huge crush on both of those girls.
Oh yeah.
7-year-old me was really into that.
Christian Bale nailed both sides of it.
Oh no, Christian Bale was a terrible Batman.
No, he was a terrible Batman.
No, he wasn't.
Oh my gosh, he was where are the drugs? He was terrible.
No, his voice was bad.
Oh yeah,
I agree with his
terrible.
voice being bad, but actually the acting as Batman was pretty decent.
He was a very good Bruce Wayne.
But
he played a great
No, he was an
jerk,
excellent
jerk
Bruce Wayne.
He played a great jerk Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, best
Anyways,
all around.
We're not a movie podcast, so let's reel that in. Oh, I know Elliot wants to tell his side of it, though. Come on, Elliot, just do it.
No, look, Michael Keaton by far best all around. Christian Bale close number 2.
I think Michael Keaton got a bad rap as Batman just because his costume he couldn't turn his head. So he seemed a lot.
That first one's so good.
It was great, but I think because he was so stiff in that costume, he literally couldn't turn his head. So it just made him seem a little awkward.
I'm telling you, though, his portrayal of Bruce Wayne was terrible. He's sitting in his freaking mansion the entire time, staring at the window, being all wistful. I'm like, cut it out and be Bruce Wayne.
At the girlfriend's house, and Joker comes in. I love that scene. It's so good.
Come on, let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Oh, so good. Anyway, sorry. I've derailed us. I apologize. I apologize for nothing.
Totally worth it.
That's
Totally
okay.
worth it.
Batman and Animator series has the definitive Batman.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Hands down.
I'll give you that.
Judgment.
So at the end of each episode, we decide if the game deserves our seal, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down, and needs a 2/3 vote to be approved. Tony, how do you feel about this game? Does it get your seal?
Well, it's a toss up. I mean, there's a lot in this game that I like. I can see I'm an old school gamer. I remember playing those Golden Axe games and Knights of the Round on Super Nintendo. Like anything you're running sideways and you're beating people up, and I love those games. And going back to it now, it's kind of it's very repetitive. It's just like maybe it's just because it's the beginning of the game and all the character classes probably feel the same until you start unlocking the cool moves. Like I started unlocking some of them, so the animations were cool. Character diversity is really wide. It takes a lot of time to explore all the different skill trees and classes and things like that. I mean, it's got a lot. Some of the things that were bad about it were pretty bad though. Like I don't like that I couldn't control it the way I wanted to control it, like with a controller. That's a lot of control. And then like the UI, I know it's an online game, but the UI is so cluttered.
Yeah.
So many little buttons, so many tiny little windows, and hotkeys, and I didn't like that. There should be a way to cut back on some of those things, just to kind of narrow it down to the things you want to see. But the name is awful. I'm sorry, Dungeon Fighters Online could have been so much better. Diablo, even Diablo.
That's
Diablo
just
Clone Online would have been
just
better.
the English translation, man.
I'm sure the Korean name is probably a lot cooler.
The Korean name is Dungeon and Fighter.
But how do you say
That's
that
what
in
it
Korean?
translates to.
I want to hear the guy say
I
it in
don't know.
Korean with the Korean
Okay.
voice, in Batman's voice. That would be perfect.
Yeah, no, we'll get some.
But I guess
feedback
in the end, I think I'd give it a seal, just because like even though it's kind of repetitive and can get boring after time, like the current event makes it easy to jump in and start leveling. And even though like if you don't have a lot of time, like I don't have a lot of time to jump in and play it, but because of the event, you can kind of grind up your levels pretty quickly, and it's easy to jump in. And you don't even need to pay attention to the difficulty star rating when you're making characters. You just pick a character and go. So I liked it. I'll probably go back to it a little bit more.
All right, Elliot, how do you feel?
I agree with everything that Tony said, except for I'm not going to give it my seal because this game is done better in Diablo, and it's done better free in Path of Exile, in my opinion. There are a lot of classes, which is cool. The art is pretty good. It reminds me of like old school beat 'em ups, but like all the bad parts about old school beat 'em ups, like the stuff I didn't like about it is what I don't like about this. So I think you can spend your time in a better community. Like Path of Exile, that community is phenomenal. And the community, like even the subreddit for this game, like people are pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty cringy subreddit. Because I spent a little bit of time just trying to learn the game, so it's not going to get my seal.
Okay. Again, I would mirror everything Tony said too. I really, really like the art style, and it felt like a cross between one of those side-scrolling beat 'em ups. The old school really loved that, and almost it was kind of like there was a game I used to play. It was called Ragnarok Online. It feels a lot like that with some of the classes, and I really, really enjoyed that game. And it's almost got a little bit of like, as far as like the customization of where you can take your classes, a little bit of a World of Warcraft feel, kind of. And I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to give this one my seal. So this game is Budget Arcade approved.
Shame.
We did not have any listener commentary this week, but we did have Tony on, so I guess that counts, right?
I was ready to write in if I wasn't here, so I didn't do it.
Very good. So next week we will be playing Old School Runescape.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Man, Jeff's going to hate that.
You can play that on your phone.
He can play it on his phone.
I foresee Jeff not making it again this week.
No, he can play it on his phone, so he's got no excuse. And it's actually pretty decent on the phone. I played a little bit whenever whenever New Game Plus played it. I pulled it up on my phone and played a little bit whenever they were on there. It was pretty good. But, we will hit that then. I want to thank you for joining us. Wherever you listen, we ask that you would leave us a favorable review, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, so you can find us on Twitter at Budget Arcade. We have a website, budgetarcade.com. We also have a Discord, which you can find the links to on our Twitter page. Also, Tony, pimp your podcast real quick.
Oh, man. I don't know if anybody wants to listen to that.
No, do it. It's good. It's
Yeah,
solid.
just do it.
Nah, I started it for people out there. Nobody's heard of this, but I did a podcast experiment in the month of November for this Napod Pomo thing, which was post once a day for the month of November, just to kind of get my feet wet and learn how to record without messing everything up. So, I mean, I did something called Peanut Galleries and Traffic Jam Bites, because it's a podcast where I give my peanut gallery thoughts as I'm driving home from work, because I spend a lot of time in the car in my commute. I drive about an hour and a half each way, so it's a long drive, so that's the only time I have to do anything. So I usually think of a lot of things and just talk about it, and I sound like an old curmudgeon talking about kids getting off my lawn sometimes, but hey, it's been fun.
Oh, it's good. I like it. It makes me feel... I'm glad, because I feel the same way on a lot of the things you say. You posted, though. Did you have one last week come out? You had one come out not too long ago, right?
Yeah, like once November was over, I thought I was going to keep going, and then all of a sudden, things were against me. I put something up, I want to say this morning, which was...
it was this morning. Yeah,
I wanted to put it up
pop up.
I wanted to put it up, I think, on Wednesday, and it just never happened. So I'm probably going to try to stick to like once a week, maybe twice a week if I'm driving, but the holidays, I'm not going to be driving as much, so we'll see.
No, it's good. It's just you, which is like, I struggle. I hate when I have to talk to myself, so I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could. That's why I made my wife podcast with me, because I can't do it by myself.
Yeah, I can ramble. That's my point. If I got off on a tirade, I could have rambled more about Batman Forever if you wanted to keep talking about that. But yeah, I ramble, so
maybe another time.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, so feel free to check it out. I'm on Spotify and wherever else Anchor lets me go.
All right, you can send any hate mail to show@budgetarcade.com. Music is by Stimmage, and you can download his music at metroidmetal.com. Thank you for joining us, and game on.